You are now listening to the smooth, mellifluous sounds of Red's Room Podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome to episode number 40 of the Red's Room Podcast. I'm your host, Red.
And I'm your co-host, Jake.
And today we are going to talk about the moon landing. As always, our references are in the episode description. So, read a little paragraph here for those unfamiliar. On July 20th, 1969, American astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin became the first humans ever to land on the moon. About 6.5 hours later, Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon. As he took his first step, Armstrong famously said, "What the fuck?" No, he said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The Apollo 11 mission occurred 8 years after President John F. Kennedy announced a national goal of landing a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s. Apollo 17, the final manned moon mission, took place in 1972.
Fuck yeah. That quote is so fucking legendary. Like, even when you say it, I can, like, hear Buzz Aldrin saying it, like, through the mic quality. And,
right.
You know.
You hear the, like, radio cackled mic.
Yeah.
It's definitely Buzz Aldrin.
Neil Armstrong. My bad.
But yeah, no doubt. Almost everyone is familiar with that. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what led up to it, how it happened, and then, of course, at the end, we're going to talk about all the crazy conspiracies around the moon landing.
I feel like, too...
If it did happen.
Yeah, did it happen?
Dun, dun, dun.
Fucking this one, the moon landing, and 9/11, I feel like are definitely, like, these are the top two that, like, got a lot of people into conspiracies and just kind of dissecting weird things. And
that was before QAnon. These were definitely the two biggest.
Yeah, before the QAnon movement.
These and lizard people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't forget the mole people, too. Everyone forgets about them. But yeah, let's talk about it. Getting into it. The American effort to send astronauts to the moon had its origins in an appeal President Kennedy made to a special joint session of Congress on May 25th, 1961. He said, quote, "I believe this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." End quote. If I could do a good JFK, I would have, but I can't.
Yeah. I'm not a man of impressions either. I can't fucking do voices.
No.
Yeah.
So, continuing on. At the time, the U.S. was still trailing the Soviet Union in space developments.
Yeah.
In Cold War era America welcomed Kennedy's bold proposal. So for those who don't know, we were in this crazy race with the Russians.
Yeah.
And that was a big factor in this.
Yeah, the space race was a big thing. Tensions high during the Cold War, kind of almost seems like between the United States and the Russia, like wanting to one-up each other. The Soviet Union at the time, they were the first to get a satellite up there in 57. Sputnik 1. Sputnik.
Are you trying to say it Russian?
Sputnik. The M4 carbine.
Sputnik, you American dog.
Yeah, but they beat us there with the satellite. But I feel like definitely the next step from JFK's words where we're gonna fucking get a man on the moon.
Yeah, we're doing it first because we're America.
Yeah, pretty
we
much.
eat American cheese and chemicals because we don't give a fuck.
Pretty much, yeah.
No comment on that? All right, cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
I thought for sure you would be down, but whatever.
The red 40 and the artificial dyes and shit that we allow but no other countries do.
We're not scared of cancer.
No.
That's for pussies. So yeah, the Soviet Union, we're like, we got to beat those fuckers. Is basically where that.
Yeah, it's kind of that's pretty much how it starts.
So yeah, everyone was on board. They welcomed Kennedy's idea. Then in '66, after 5 years of work by an international team of scientists and engineers, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, conducted the first unmanned Apollo mission, testing the structural integrity of the proposed launch vehicle in spacecraft combustion. Then on January 27th, 1967, tragedy struck at Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, when a fire broke out during a manned launch pad test of the Apollo spacecraft and Saturn rocket. 3 astronauts were killed in the fire. Mm-hmm. Despite the setback, NASA and its thousands of employees forged ahead. In October 1968, Apollo 7, the first manned Apollo mission, orbited Earth and successfully tested many of the sophisticated systems needed to conduct a moon journey and landing. In December of the same year, Apollo 8 took 3 astronauts to the far side of the moon and back. And in March 1969, Apollo 9 tested the lunar module for the first time while in Earth orbit. That May, the 3 astronauts of Apollo 10 took the first complete Apollo spacecraft around the moon in a dry run for the scheduled July landing mission. Then, as we said in the beginning, on July 20th, 1969, we landed on the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a very quick summary. Took that from history.com, I believe. It's in the references. But it was a great summary.
No, yeah, it's crazy how they unfortunately had some missteps with some things going wrong and, but they got there. We're going to get into that later. But I was watching
Did it happen?
Did they get there? I was watching like a video. Actually, I was watching a different one about Apollo 13. We know the one that went super wrong, but they were able to get the guys back. But the technology that they had in these fucking
in the 60s.
Dude, yeah, like the computer we're recording on right now has more RAM and fucking higher specs,
Yeah, dude.
But
the radio was technology back then.
They made the most out of what they fucking have. And I believe you talked a little about the lunar module. I believe the lunar module is the thing that comes off of the rocket and that's what lands on the moon.
Yes.
And
it's like the capsule part of it.
Yeah. And just the fucking progress that was made with this technology was fucking insane.
It is insane.
Do you think if you were alive back then, do you think you'd have the balls to get up in there?
Whew.
I personally would pussy out. I don't think I would.
That is a good question. I don't know.
I would pussy out.
Depends on the day you ask me, I think.
I don't fuck with space like that, dude. That shit's fucking scary. Oh,
yeah, man. It is pretty scary.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I would pussy out.
And honestly, the like capsule and stuff, like that stuff just seems kind of janky for what it did.
As well, too, as far as I know, especially these during this time period.
No offense to NASA.
It was not like comfortable to be in there. Like it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows on your journey to the moon.
There's no way. You're like pissing in your suit. Right, like, I take gnarly shits. How does that like?
I bet you that they, I bet that that's something they thought about, and you probably had to go on a certain diet before you went up there.
Be like, guys, I have an irritable bowel. They'll be like, you're out.
Yeah, dude, I bet the specifications, like, you couldn't have anything wrong with you. But
man, you would be like, so we're gonna need like 30 bush lights a day.
Yeah.
How many days are gonna be there?
Yeah. How many Chipotle burritos do we need to get us through this fucking flight?
We need Chipotle burritos and bush lights or whiskey and tequila.
Dude, I'm just fucking. Oh my god, just farting up that fucking shuttle.
Yeah, like I'm not going to space sober. Are you crazy,
dude?
What do you mean? I can't smoke a joint?
Dude, straight up, like I've had fucking.
What's it like lighting a joint in zero grav?
You know, I guess you probably could do it in the spacecraft because it is like oxygenated and fucking, it has, I guess, a semi-similar atmosphere to where we are fucking now, but I don't know how it would work, man.
Do you think someone has smoked a joint in space?
I fucking doubt it, but that would be dope if they did.
Even the Russians?
Nah, they're not cool with weed like that. Maybe they slammed a fucking Smirnoff bottle up there, but...
I bet Smirnoff's an insult to him, but they definitely slammed a vodka bottle, I'm sure.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. They definitely did.
Yeah, they definitely did something up there.
We got totally derailed, but we're going to get more derailed as we get deeper into this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we basically just glazed over how it all happened so that we can talk about the crazy shit around it.
The fucking cool shit.
Let's start with the real stuff.
Okay.
The paperclip scientists.
Yep.
So, I will preface, we did an episode on Operation Paperclip. That was before we had video, but we have taken a deep dive into this if you want more. Well, not a super deep dive, but
a decent one.
We went more in depth into this if you want more details. But NASA basically got to the moon with Nazi scientists.
Yep.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yes. They were definitely pivotal.
After World War II, we basically gave them amnesty, gave them asylum here, and we put them to work.
Yeah, as far as I take it, there was a certain amount of scientists that went to Russia, and or the Soviets, and there was a certain amount of scientists that went to the U.S.
Wasn't it like six? Oh, actually, I got it here, 1,600.
Yeah, but I was gonna say over 1,000, somewhere in that range.
So I got a few paragraphs about some of these guys, the big guys at NASA.
Yeah.
Werner von Braun.
That's the one right there.
Yes, the main guy. He was the head of NASA. He is widely known as Hitler's wunderkind engineer, whose V-2 rocket rained down on London and Antwerp in the final year of the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
After the war, the technological dividend of victory in Europe proved hard for the United States to resist. Under the auspices, that's a new word for me.
I'm going to go with that.
Of Operation Paperclip, the U.S. brought over 1,600 V-2 engineers and their families. I believe that was not just V-2 exclusively, but but yeah, they brought over 1,600 engineers and their families and scientists. Werner von Braun he invented the V-2 rocket.
If my memory is correct, he co-developed the V-2 rocket with a fellow named Arthur Rudolph.
That's the next guy I got on here.
Okay, he is there?
You're right, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, good catch. Good memory. He did, and they used slave labor, concentration camp Jews. And Werner von Braun would handpick the Jews he wanted to go work on his rockets.
Yeah, this is before they come to the United States. But yes, when they were working on their V-2 shit, Nazi Germany SS shit,
yeah,
they were fucking using, essentially, like you said, slave labor Jews to fucking do whatever dirty work they wanted them to do on that particular day.
And then we brought them over to make the Saturn rocket. And then we whitewashed their history.
With the Nuremberg trials and...
Yeah, so I guess right now I'm trying to, throw a little shade on them because it was very whitewashed, their history, for a long time.
Definitely. It was whitewashed. And even today, some of the information, it's out there, but even some of it's hard to find.
Yeah, it's like most people don't know that NASA was started with a bunch of Nazis.
And I remember you saying in the Paperclip episode, there might as well have been a swastika on the fucking spaceship,
Yes, good point, me.
Yeah.
So you brought up that guy, so I'm going to bring him up.
Yeah, let's talk about Rudolph.
Arthur Rudolph, who worked as a project director of the Saturn V engines, and won a NASA Distinguished Service Medal. Here's a quote from him. "I read Mein Kampf and agreed with a lot of things in it, end quote. Rudolph told a journalist in 1985, another quote, Hitler's first 6 years until the war started were really marvelous. Everybody was happy, end quote. Rudolph fled the U.S. to avoid prosecution for war crimes.
Yep.
Dude, he read Mein Kampf and agreed with a lot of things in it. Crazy.
Kind of shows you what type of individual that guy was.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Mein Kampf is the book Hitler wrote. I'm going to talk about one more guy here, and these are just brief things I'm talking about these guys. There's a lot of information
and
about
there's a
these
lot
guys.
more people involved, too.
There was a lot more people involved, for sure. I'm just hitting the 3 big guys. The last one here is Kurt H. Debus. Hopefully I'm saying that all right. Was director of NASA, launched operations, who also has a lunar crater named after him. He joined the Nazi Party, the SS, and the... Oh my god.
It's called the SA. That's how they abbreviated it.
Yeah, I'll go with that. The SA. And there's Hubris Strughold, the father of the space medicine. Oh, I'm sorry, I had one more guy here. Who designed Apollo's pressure suit and onboard life systems. Previously, in his Nazi career, he conducted oxygen deprivation experiments.
Interesting.
On epileptic children.
Oh my god, dude, this is like some MK Ultra shit.
Dude,
yeah.
This is these are the guys. So he's making the spacesuits with all of the data he gained from the experiments.
Oh my, dude,
on
that
epileptic children.
That straight up
and
sounds
oxygen
like fucking MK Ultra shit.
deprivation.
Like what?
Dude, this
fuck?
is worse than MK Ultra. If I'm
worse than's a tough that word's
worse
hard
is
to
a
use.
hard word.
I would probably say on par.
Man, I don't know.
It sounds pretty fucking bad though. Regardless, it's fucking disgusting.
It is.
But yeah, these are the guys. These are a few of the top tier guys that, and obviously these were terrible people. Blah blah blah. No shit. But they were fucking smart. Very smart.
They were geniuses.
And had a lot of fucking crazy data that essentially kind of got us that push that we needed to get us to the moon. If you believe we got to the moon. But it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm more like wondering if we needed them that bad.
That is hard to say. I wasn't fucking there.
Yeah, I know, but it's like...
In my humble opinion, I guess, maybe we would have...
Oppenheimer was doing during this time.
Yeah, what was... Get his ass on here.
Well, I mean, he's not a rocket, he's a
physicist, though.
Physicist, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know either. That Oppenheimer movie got us thinking now.
Definitely. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm. It was a good one. Good watch.
He's an interesting fellow. We'll probably have to cover that in an episode.
Cover Oppenheimer.
But, it's just did we have to use these evil motherfuckers?
Maybe it would have taken a little longer for us to get there, but...
Dude was a straight up SS.
Piece of shit. Yeah.
He was an SS.
Yeah.
SS and an SA. I don't even know what an SA is. He's an SS and an SA. That dude's got too many titles. And then we're giving him medals. We're naming craters after him on the moon.
Is that...
Dude, Wernher von Braun, Disney was whitewashed him and made him look so good, and our newspapers in America made him look like such a hero for NASA. It's insane, dude.
Is that crater, have they changed the name since then, or is it still...
I didn't double check
I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Well, when I checked this on Wikipedia, it said this.
That's what it said. According to Wiki, that's the most recent information we have.
I doubt it's changed. No one pays attention to this stuff except for us and the 6 people that listen to us.
I don't really think anyone gives a fuck, really, and even if they heard that name just out of nowhere, they wouldn't know that it's a fucking Nazi anyway.
Right. How would you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Except for all the thousands of people in the concentration camps.
Yeah, they know, but they're all dead now. R.I.P. Yeah, I got you.
So now that we're done with that, I did have a cool little side note here. about Nixon. So, President Richard Nixon.
Watergate.
That's not what we're talking about today.
No, not today.
Another good one. Spoke with Armstrong and Aldrin via a telephone radio transmission shortly after they planted the flag on the lunar surface. Nixon considered it the most historic phone call ever made from the White House. He might be right. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of crazy ones. But that's got to be up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right with, like, speaking to interdimensional beings and whatever lizard people, crazy things they do. I always go to lizard people. But that we know of, at least, that's the ones that we know of, at least, that's got to be totally up there. Thanks, Rob.
Gotta get in a little beer.
Got to keep it light. So, now we have covered all of the factual things.
Yeah, got a good baseline.
We joked around about some conspiracies, but we talked about all the factual things up till this point.
Yeah, there's no...
do you have any more factual things you want to mention
no,
before we move on?
I delve into more fucking autistic shit. You know how I get down.
Yes.
Sorry.
Now we're going to start diving into the crazier things.
Okay.
The conspiracies. So, start with a section here on the space race. Motivation for the United States to engage the Soviet Union in a space race can be traced to the Cold War. We all know this, right?
Definitely.
Pretty common knowledge. Landing on the moon was viewed as a national and technological accomplishment that would generate worldwide acclaim. But going to the moon would be risky and expensive, as exemplified by President JFK, famously stating in a 1962 speech that the United States chooses to go because it was hard. That was a great speech, by the way. He said we choose not to go because it is easy, but because it is hard.
Hey, that's not, bro.
No, that's nothing like the way he said it.
But, I mean, dude, I actually did catch a clip of that speech in some of the videos I watched, and it is like a top tier speech.
Dude,
Dude,
that is.
Dude, that guy.
I wish I could do it like him.
He was like goated at like getting people.
Yeah. We choose to go to the moon.
Yeah.
Not because it is easy.
Exactly.
But because it is hard.
Yeah. Just drop the fucking mic.
Dude, I like it. It's a good line.
Yeah, dude, JFK is, he's...
JFK was the shit.
Yeah.
By the way, we did an episode on him.
Yeah, we did do an episode on him.
Yeah. That was before video, but a good episode. Moving on. So, hoax theory debunker Phil Platt says in his 2002 book, Bad Astronomy, that the Soviets, with their own competing moon program, an extensive intelligence network, and a formidable scientific community able to analyze NASA data, would have cried foul if the United States tried to fake a moon landing, especially since their own program had failed. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I guess I had these two paragraphs just for talking points. But basically, the point of the first one is that a lot of people say it was too expensive for us to go. But a good counterpoint is that if we did fake the moon landing, which is what we're getting into in these conspiracies, mostly is around it being fake. If we did, for sure, the Soviets would have called bullshit immediately.
Bullshit, yeah.
And I think that's one of the best arguments I've heard, honestly.
Yeah, why didn't the Soviets come out and fucking...
Because they would have... If anybody wants to say we're full of shit, it's them, right?
Oh, as far as, like, rivals in fucking history, the U.S. v. the Soviets have to be fucking up there, man. Like...
Dude, in Rocky, when he fights the Russian...
Oh, yeah, Drago.
Dude.
or whatever. Yeah, fucking.
He was so jacked.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, we have a war named after between the Soviets and the fucking U.S. where nothing happened. The Cold War, like it was that crazy,
right? And now the upcoming World War III with Russia.
Now that's
my
diffy.
God.
That's diffy.
Yeah, if the Civil War doesn't happen before then. Anyways, I'm just messing around, guys. Yeah, but I think that's a good argument, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I for sure think the Russians would love nothing more than to say we failed and
poke
we
holes
lied about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now the next one I want to get into is one of my favorite moon landing conspiracies.
Dude, I want to hear it, man. I can already see the title right there.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick. So this is why we talked about Kubrick first in our last episode.
Oh, and Eyes Wide Shut.
It's part of it. Also, Eyes Wide Shut on its own was amazing with its own conspiracies.
Just he was the director of it or producer.
He's the GOAT.
He's what? Yeah, one of the goats for sure.
So I'm going to read this. A popular conspiracy is that the footage of the moon landing was faked by Stanley Kubrick. After his iconic movie 2001, A Space Odyssey, NASA and possibly Nixon himself contacted Kubrick to fake the footage of the moon landing. Sorry, excuse me. An interesting part of this conspiracy that is often pointed to is the many odd references found in Kubrick's movie The Shining.
Man, The Shining's even connected to this. Okay.
If you haven't seen The Shining,
it's
I don't
a
know
good
what
one.
rock you've been living under. If you haven't at least heard of it, but watch it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
A supposed interview with Kubrick 3 days before his death and not to be released for 15 years has circulated the internet. And I've linked this video. It seems to be someone directing an actor playing Kubrick to say the things to make it sound... It seems like it's a hoax. Another oddity that some point to lend credence to the conspiracy that the footage was faked is that NASA has supposedly lost the original footage.
Yeah, and
let's discuss.
Yeah, Alex Jones even talked about how some of the film came back. It got fucked up through like the radiation belts and stuff.
That's a big conspiracy. Yeah,
that's a big conspiracy that the radiation belts
the Van Allen belts.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
Yes,
dude. Even when you were talking about how he was kind of putting some subliminal messaging into some of his movies. Even fucking one of the Despicable Me movies. Have you seen this? There's a scene in one of those movies where the Minions are like setting up a film set of the moon landing. It's fucking...
That is awesome.
So it's definitely like... It's so widely regarded as like people know about it that it's popped up in film and media.
Yes. Yeah, quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if that's the only reference.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the movie The Shining, I think I linked something that breaks down a lot of it, but there's several references.
Yes, some parallels there.
I know he changed like the room name to a number that corresponds to how many miles it is between the Earth and the moon. He changed that from what Stephen King's original novel was.
That's a weird change, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, why would you change the room number?
Mm-hmm.
He changed the kid. He's wearing a sweater that has the Apollo Saturn rocket on it.
Okay.
Some people say the carpet in the hallways has this distinct pattern that looks just like the launch pad, and it is. It's the shape of the launch pad.
Okay.
I think there's more references, but those are the ones I remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it is weird.
I guess I
wish that video of Kubrick talking was real. I don't think it's real.
No?
No, it doesn't seem real. But yeah, he basically says everything you want to hear. That he's just like, yeah, Nixon called me. And I made this and stuff, and then I think he basically says we could never go to the moon because of the Van Allen belts, which is a popular conspiracy. We can't go past the Van Allen belts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not smart enough to know what's true.
Me either.
With that, but yeah.
I guess I'll segue into just some of like the more popular like things that people like to talk about to kind of discredit the moon landing. I'm going to start with the flag that they put down. We've all seen the photos of the flag. So there was a great Guardian article that will be linked below that they showed like the skeptic's point of view and then the believer point of view of whatever I'm talking about. So we're going to start with the flag. So the skeptic point of view. The stars and stripes appears to be waving in the wind, which is impossible without an atmosphere. Some of those so-called scientists at NASA should have done their homework a bit better. So that's the skeptic point of view. We've all seen the image of the flag. It looks like it has ripples in it, like wind is blowing on it. Mm-hmm. Now the believer point of view is that the flag did not need wind to move, and it does not move in any of the videos unless touched. When it is set in motion, the lack of the atmosphere and hence the air resistance mean that the flag takes a long time to settle. So I guess the argument is that they set the flag down and it was kind of they set it down with the flag looking like that, and because it's not moving, it's going to take a lot of time to kind of flatten out. So when they caught that picture, it was like stuck in that motion.
That's a weird one.
So I guess, make your own opinion about it.
All the videos, I thought it was like flapping too, in a wind or something.
So make your own opinion about it. To me, I get both sides.
Right.
Here's the next one. We're going to talk about inconsistent shadows, the skeptic point of view. Mm-hmm. Shadows cast by objects on the surface point in different directions, which proves there were several light sources, aka a TV video or like a set.
Yeah.
The believer side to this is a low sun and uneven surface can distort the angles and shadows in images. And if there are multiple light sources, why does each object only cast one shadow? So I guess it being I guess just the way the fucking space works, where it's pointed to the sun and it not having an atmosphere, the shadows that are cast on the moon are different than the Earth, which seems plausible to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but it makes sense to me.
Seems plausible, but I am not smart enough to know.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to know either. One that I really like, if you look up the image I showed Red of the sea rock, this is
sounds like should be part of Scientology. Sea Org.
The Sea Org, yeah.
No, the
definitely.
Sea Rock.
But this is the letter C.
This is a literal rock with a C on it, though.
Yeah. So basically, I don't even need to read this. Basically, in some of the footage and the images, there is a rock, and it literally looks plain as day that there is a letter C on it. And people equate that to it being a movie prop, that they needed to set this rock down at this specific point. But with the camera quality and the fucking magnification, and maybe that looks different on camera than it does in real life. And regardless, maybe it did just have it looked like it had a C in it. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of a scenario of people just trying to make something a conspiracy. But
I can go both ways on that.
Yeah, you could definitely go both ways.
It's like a perfect Times New Roman C. Like
yeah.
Does look odd.
It does look weird.
I definitely think it looks odd.
I showed Red the image, and it does look like a perfect C. So
maybe it's natural. There's weird natural things in rocks.
Maybe it's natural or something that came across looking different in the photo.
Also looks super fake. It
does look weird.
I can go both ways if we have more evidence one way or another.
Yeah. That's kind of the tough part about this. Really, a lot of conspiracies is just a lack of evidence in this kind of scenario both ways,
Right.
Now I'm going to talk about radiation. This is from a Institute of Physics article. No Nazis here. Perhaps the most convincing argument that the landings were faked has to do with something called the Van Allen belts, which we touched on before. These are two giant donut-shaped belts surrounding the Earth. They are made of highly energetic, charged particles from the solar wind. Some people believe humans couldn't have passed through these belts without being exposed to lethal doses of radiation. This was a genuine concern before the Apollo missions, and it is the reason scientists behind Apollo 11 made sure they protected the astronauts as best as they could. They insulated the spacecraft from radiation with an aluminum shell, and
Foil.
it does look pretty foily in certain parts.
Look foily, yeah.
And they chose a trajectory from the Earth to the Moon, which minimized the amount of time spent in the Van Allen belts. Readings from 9 Apollo missions that reached the Moon showed the astronauts' average radiation exposure was 0.46 radiation absorbed dose, a rad. This proved NASA was right to shield the astronauts, though it's less radiation that a lot of nuclear workers experience today. A 0.46 rad is around 10 times more than the radiation exposure of a X-ray. So, I mean, it's not great, but it doesn't seem like enough to just kill you straight up.
Yeah, weird. I've never heard it as rad. I've always heard it.
Rads, you never played Fallout. Or the Geiger counter, that's what measures rads.
Oh,
yeah,
so
a Geiger counter, that's the thing that measures it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've heard of guys who work in nuclear plants.
Yeah.
They can only deal with so much of that radiation.
I mean, there definitely is a limit of how... Dude, I don't know why.
But they have those Geiger counters on them and stuff.
because they have like an hour or 2 hours where they're allowed to be...
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. After I read this article, I started watching like Hiroshima videos and like...
Oh, man.
But,
I have something about that Van Allen belt one, though.
Yeah, let's hear it.
One of the most compelling arguments I heard of was talking about us not being able to go through those Van Allen belts.
Okay.
Because supposedly, I might be fucking this up, but to give you the idea of the argument, is that the coating on the spacecraft could only withstand like 3,000 degrees or something.
Okay.
Supposedly the Van Allen belts are like 30,000 degrees.
Really? Okay.
So I don't remember the
idea.
specific, but it was something like that, and I was like, "That's interesting." But how long were they in them? Did they go like right through them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the physics behind that, but it was a very interesting argument. You know, it's really easy to find these if you just Google them.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was one of the most interesting and most compelling arguments I heard.
And that's one of the conspiracies about kind of the in the middle conspiracy is that we did do it, but we faked the footage because the film reel got radiated from those belts. So
I think,
who knows?
I think after this, I might more aspire to that idea.
Maybe that we did do it and some of the footage was fake just because they couldn't bring it back. It's hard to say. I know.
I've also seen a lot of recent NASA footage that looks extremely fake, and some of it definitely is fake.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you seen any of that?
Where they look like they're on wires.
Well, and then stuff glitches.
Okay, yeah.
They have glitches while they're filming it, and you're like,
what?
This is definitely fake.
I think there was even something popped. Didn't Elon send a Tesla to space, and there was like a point in the footage that looked weird. So
Is it just
space? Is it faked? Is it
because we live in a simulation and when you hit space, you're hitting
the boundary? Shit's getting
a little,
the code's getting a little wacky.
If I want to get really weird about it, maybe we're hitting the code. I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, that might be a new theory you just thought of there. That's a cool one.
Someone had it come
I've never heard of that one. Maybe it's been talked about before.
It's like on Halo when you're going out on the beach and you're hitting the end of the map.
Oh, yeah, just invisible walls.
And you're trying to grenade launch the Warthog through it.
Dude, there is a bunch of cool fucking people getting to places that they should not be in Halo levels. I got one more here to talk about. Just one more.
That's how we got to the moon. Grenade launching the Warthog.
Yeah, we grenade bounced up there.
Yes.
But I got one more. This is from a Discovery article. Why is there no stars? This is one of the biggest things that, like...
Because they're not real.
Yeah, years
Part of
ago,
the
like
simulation.
when I was even more dumb than I am now, when I was younger, I remember watching some videos and being like, "Why the fuck is there no stars?" So this is one
You
point
used
of
to be
view.
more dumb. I used to be more smarter.
I-
You're gonna hit that point too.
I guess maybe, yeah. There's been some things that have probably made my brain not as good. But okay, so this is how it starts off. That's the trade-off of the Apollo astronauts had to make. The sky on the moon is as black as night, not because it is night, but because there is no atmosphere to scatter the daylight the way ours does on Earth. But make no mistake, there is every bit as much sunlight at midday on the moon as there is on Earth. That makes the lunar surface incredibly bright. The scenery on the moon was the most important thing to capture in Apollo photographs, so the camera was adjusted to make the most out of the scenery. As a result, the relativity dim of the stars in the background didn't register in any of the shots. No hoax, just a trick of the camera lens. So, like,
I don't know.
that kind of list. I
Maybe.
did look up images. I googled like moon shots with the stars in the background, and I saw some. I don't know if they're fucking real. This is one thing I wanted to talk about. Is I've never fucking been to space. It's honestly hard to comprehend, even when you see some of like the Earth shots from space.
It's because you can't go there. The firmament.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the firmament's blocking us. But like maybe I just can't comprehend what it's supposed to look like. And I saw some images that had stars in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're real or not. You know, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Like some of them looked kind of real, some of them looked kind of weird, but
Also, we're talking about cameras from the 60s.
and that is a good point as well.
Have you watched a film from the 60s?
I mean,
have you watched one?
Yeah,
Have you seen how terrible
Yeah.
the lighting is?
We fucking watched Reefer Madness recently, and that
Um,
fucking shit was pretty bad camera wise.
I'm not trying to argue for them, but to be fair, they're pretty bad.
You know, and every like when I was looking up these things, that article that I with the skeptic and believer point of view, like every other website too, like
Mhm.
a lot of them were shutting down the conspiracy. Like they seem to have good points of why things were the way they were. So
Yeah. I even looked on DuckDuckGo, hoping I would find
you didn't really find anything
Some-
that cool.
better stuff that was not censored by Google.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
I actually believe less in the conspiracies now that I've researched it.
I do as well, because in a lot of other conspiracies we've covered, like there's a bunch of shit and there's some shit shooting it down, but on this one, like every fucking thing was shot down with like facts or whatever, you know?
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah, like everything I saw, there was like a reasoning of why it was the way it was. So
I'm not going to say I 100% believe it, but I'm like,
I'm more of the belief too that
I'm
we
definitely
did go there.
more up there of the belief that we went to the moon and
Mhm.
it's legit.
Yes,
However, I still think maybe we faked the footage.
I
Maybe the
yeah.
footage didn't come back and we faked that.
Mhm.
I can see that argument. So
Definitely.
I definitely can see that. That maybe we did try to record it and it was
just
all
wasn't
destroyed in the
possible.
Van Allen belts by the radiation, and then we recorded it ourselves. Maybe there's some real scientists out there that I'm saying this and it was like, you're fucking retarded, it's totally legit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. But
exactly.
that's kind of where I landed at the end of this. What about you?
I landed there too, to where if I had to pick one way or the other, I did think we went, but the ins and outs and the other shit surrounding it, I don't know. There's definitely some
Right.
fishy stuff around there.
Also,
Some
in,
weird footage.
in some of the weirder conspiracies, I wonder if there was any ulterior reasons why we went, motives. Was there something up there that we found?
Maybe.
I don't know. Was there something up there that we knew of that we wanted to check out? Maybe.
If
I'm curious, but
yeah.
I don't know.
If I'm getting opinionated here, I don't think so. I think it was more of just a big dick Russia kind of plan. But maybe there was something cool up there.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of money spent to just go
Yeah.
set something on the moon.
And we went there more
back.
than once, too. It wasn't just a one-time thing.
Yeah, I feel like maybe there was something. Maybe. I don't know, but maybe there was something there.
Mm-hmm.
If not one of the crazy conspiracy things, maybe there's a mineral there or something.
Some element 115 shit, like
that's
some
like
different element.
really valuable that we just mined a bunch of it. I don't know, but I wouldn't. I don't think it's crazy to think that.
I mean, it's possible, man. It's possible.
So now we're gonna talk about NASA plans to go back.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
So this has been crazy forever. Like people have been like, "Oh, we never went back." And yeah, I have said the same thing.
Dude, I'm pro going back.
Let's do it.
I'm down. Like, I've never been alive to witness a moon landing happen as it happened, so I would want to fucking see it.
I want to witness one. I want to see if the video glitches then.
Dude, I'm gonna be fucking pissed, bro.
Dude, if the video glitches then, we're doing another podcast.
Yeah. Dude, you start that fucking live stream, no cuts, no fucking turn off the nothing.
Yeah.
You let that fucking camera go.
I better see no AI generated visuals.
Yeah, no fucking BS there. Fucking.
It better be legit.
Oh my god.
We better not have any weird interviews with the guys when they come back. Oh, that was another thing we didn't touch on. They interviewed the astronauts when they came back.
And it was weird.
And it was weird.
It almost seemed scripted, a lot of their responses.
It was weird. I just didn't know what to make of that.
Me either. I
don't know what to make of that to tell you guys. Other than that, it was fucking weird.
Yeah, Rogan talked about it, that it fucking... the interview, it was just straight up weird.
Were they just awestruck from seeing Earth and being in space?
Yeah.
And then you got to think, to become an astronaut, you're a giant nerd. So
maybe socially awkward.
Are they extremely socially awkward to talk to people? They just saw space. They're extremely awkward. Now they're talking to people. And then probably NASA told them what to say.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I'm sure somebody was like, here's some things to say. And then it's just weird. Maybe that's all it is.
This is something I probably should have looked into.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know when that interview was made, but if it was soon after, I know that, like...
I think it was soon after
their bodies took a hit from going to the moon. You know?
Oh, that's true, too.
So maybe they were kind of a little fucked up. I don't know.
Maybe that's all it is. Maybe they talked to fucking aliens. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they did.
And then they can't tell anyone. Yeah, now they're in an interview.
if we're putting on the tinfoil hat, maybe the Greys or the reptilians were chilling up there.
I've heard that supposedly, like, astronauts, when they go to space, they hear and see weird things.
Weird shit.
That's inexplainable. But it's nothing that's substantial enough.
Yeah.
For to like really talk about, it's just like lights and sounds. So maybe they just experienced a bunch of weird shit that they can't really tell anyone without sounding insane. Mm-hmm. And now they're in an interview. They're the first ones, and they're just going through it. Maybe that's all it is.
Yeah,
too.
I'm gonna get into this Buzz Aldrin saying some weird shit, but
Buzz Aldrin has said a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm out of beer. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You want me to get to the Buzz Aldrin stuff real quick?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this isn't regarding the moon, but this was a interview he did on C-SPAN. It's on YouTube. You can. Okay. It's literally like a 1-minute clip. You can watch it, but I transcribed it here.
Nice.
And the interviewer asked him a question. This is his response right here. We can explore the moon and develop the moon. We should go boldly where man has not gone before. Fly by the comets, visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once every 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there? Well, the universe put that there. If you choose, God put that there. So what I'm taking from that is there's some fuck shit on Mars. There on the moon of Mars. There's, I don't know.
I don't know. Mars is an interesting one, though.
I know that quote is weird, but him talking about the moon of Mars, there's a monolith there. There's a monolith? What are you talking about? Are we playing Starfield right now? Like, I don't know how to take that in, but it's fucking weird, man. I don't know what else to say about that. Does that quote make you feel weird, Red?
Yeah, I was trying to think of what I wanted to say about it, and I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, what the fuck is that? Is there?
He has said some weird stuff too about Antarctica.
Yes,
And,
said some weird shit. Yeah.
I want to know what's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tough part.
Of course, we get that bombshell on a fucking C-SPAN interview, but
Right.
I don't know how to take that. Also,
he has said some weird stuff on I think it was Conan O'Brien. It was someone else.
He said some weird shit.
He was talking about just like they were like, yeah, we saw the footage of you landing, and then he was just like, who recorded it? We were already there. I don't know. Is he just old and going senile?
Maybe.
Or
is he Sleepy Joe?
does he have some real shit to tell us? Like, it's getting tough at this point.
It is getting tough.
I want to know.
I want to know as well.
I want to know the facts. So
you got one last little section for us here, don't you?
this isn't a conspiracy section, though. Yeah, so we landed in a weird spot in the conspiracy section where we do not 100%, believe everything is true that we know about it. A lot of it does seem legit, but as far as the conspiracies go, we're still open-minded.
Yes.
And we are still interested in more facts coming about that in the future. I 100% want to know more facts about those conspiracies.
Hypothetically, I think it will be another JFK or something situation to where if there is something that is there, it's classified and we'll never fucking hear about it.
Exactly. I feel like if we never went, or if we went and there's something crazy there,
we're not going to hear anything.
We're not going to hear about it.
And if we do, it's going to be redacted and we're not going to get the full pizza. We're going to get a slice. And
which I will say now, it's really weird them talking about aliens a lot.
Dude, I don't know why.
Like this is a good one to talk about.
I've kind of just been listening to stuff, and there's like so many different sides. Are they releasing this shit now to kind of catch us off guard and get us to worry about that when something else real is going on, kind of mitigate something else, whether it's Ukraine or whatever it is.
There's that idea.
There's that. Are they kind of planting the seed so that we can kind of get more to along with the idea of this thing of aliens being real? Is it just fear-mongery? I don't know.
I don't know. But I was more along the lines of believing in aliens until the government started telling me aliens were real.
It makes me go both ways, where it's like, okay, now the government's talking about it, this is legit, but it's like, okay, the government's talking about it.
Yeah,
like, is it bullshit now?
Now I'm wondering, are these aliens, or is this like secret military stuff we have, and now this is a mass propaganda to like keep it secret for them?
I forget who was talking about it. We're working on like supersonic drones that like break the sound barrier and fucking.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I might be misquoting this, but I believe Russia was getting more close to them like becoming like pretty reliable, and now we're like jumping in like we need to get on this train too.
Drones that break the sound barrier. That's insane.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows, man? The whole
who knows? We want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know as well.
If anyone's got some cool information, send it to us.
Yeah.
We'll cover it.
I'm ready for the ET that fucking shows up here and we come in peace and, or the Intergalactic Federation War or whatever.
We want to cover that cool stuff. We just need some legit
There's
sources.
just not exactly, man.
Yeah. there's just not right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Pentagon stuff is really weird.
Yeah.
We'll just
Very
have to
weird.
see where it goes, I guess. I'm more of the idea of I don't know. I've read some books on it and stuff. It's like maybe there is some crazy stuff that comes from something we don't know. Maybe it's interdimensional.
That is a big argument.
That we're possibly back engineering it, and maybe some of the stuff we're seeing, maybe it's crazy weird stuff, or maybe it's just some of the technology we've back engineered. I'm more fallen in that line of thinking lately, I guess.
If we get real weird, maybe they're trying to warn us to not cross a certain line, it's happened in U.S. and Russia where nuclear facilities just get turned off.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard about that, like the bomb, and I know it's happened in the United States and Russia. Who fucking knows? I'm definitely putting on the tinfoil hat here, but there's a bunch of weird shit.
I've heard of that one, too. Once we reach the nuclear point is when
There's
whatever these beings are, that's when they became interested in us.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, they reached the nuclear threshold.
We want to show you you're not anything.
And then they're like, kind of like, lock that down a little. Don't get too crazy.
I guess what I was saying with that is don't get how you were saying totally, but it's also like, yo, we're so much more OP than you are. We can just shut that shit off. You know what I mean?
Oh, you think they're doing that? I don't think they are. I know what you mean, though.
I guess as far as if they don't come in peace, that's kind of the way I think about it. But I do subscribe to your.
To me, it's more
to
like
that point a little more. Like, chill out, y'all.
Yeah. Speaking of no one who's ever had any interaction like that.
Yeah,
I think it's more like.
Yeah.
I think of it more like if they're so far above it, they're more omnipotent. They're just like, like a kid with they're like seeing a kid who just got a BB gun, and they're like, all right, calm down. Don't shoot yourself in the eye.
Yeah.
And then if the kid points it to the eye, then they smack it away, and they're just like, hold on, don't do that. Like, that's kind of what how I'm picturing it. Because supposedly, there was like a time where like launch codes were supposedly about to be launched, and then like a UFO showed up and shut them down.
Like
from
they were getting ready. Like it was
supposedly right.
I believe Jeremy Corbell talked about that.
That's probably where I heard it.
That's
done
where I heard it
work.
from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is that where I heard it from?
That's where I heard it from. Yes. I guess this is one of the time where I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't look into that, but
I wasn't planning on talking about this, but
we just kind of rabbit holed into it.
Why not? The moon landing is a good one, right?
Yeah, this is a good one to talk about the aliens for sure.
Were you going somewhere with that, or was that it?
No, that's what I got.
I'm glad you brought up Jeremy Corbell. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, shout out to that guy, man.
We'll probably talk
very interesting
more about him and Bob Lazar in another one. But we kind of got derailed there for a minute. But the last section here, NASA plans to go back to the moon, guys. I don't know if you guys have heard, but NASA has established the Artemis program to go back to the moon. Artemis 3 will be the first mission to return to the surface of the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. It is set to land at the lunar South Pole, which is thought to hold vast stores of water and ice in craters that never see sunlight. Artemis 3, currently planned for 2026, will mark humanity's first return to the lunar surface in more than 50 years. NASA will make history by sending the first humans to explore the region near the lunar South Pole. Artemis program, quote, "We're going back to the moon for scientific discovery, economic benefits, and inspiration for a new generation of explorers, the Artemis generation. While maintaining American leadership in exploration, we will build a global alliance and explore deep space for the benefit of all." So,
some bold claims there.
Yeah, that's what they say. Also on their website, they talk about how they're going to have people of color there. They're going to be super inclusive to who they have go. Because
Everyone's
that's
got their
important
own-
these days.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't it like a black woman who did all the calculations to get us to the moon? I think it was.
If
But
it was, shout out to her, man. She was OP.
I'm pretty sure it was. But yeah, that's like, all right. You don't need to like flash to me your PC stuff. But yeah,
I personally, I'm of the hire who's ever best for the job. If they're,
whoever
you know,
is
if
best.
they're black, Asian, white,
But
other whatever. I don't care who goes
but yeah,
up there.
if you read the website, you would be like, man, they're kind of
Yeah, why are they throwing that in there?
overly talking about it.
Maybe they
Like,
got a couple.
just tell me about the moon stuff, man.
Yeah, maybe they got a couple extra dollars from the Biden administration throwing that in. But
Probably.
you know, a couple extra bucks in there.
But
Put this in there.
But whoever it is, yeah, Yusu's best. Get us there. I don't
Get us
care
there.
what color they
Dude,
are. What
I
gender.
do like how they're trying to get to the harder part of the moon that is not exposed to the sun. I believe how you were saying.
Yeah,
there.
that's interesting.
So we're kind of if that does happen, we're kind of one upping the last moon landing in a way. We're getting to even a harder spot, you know. So
right.
you'd think maybe we'd have a little more innovation over the last 50 years, but if that's what it takes to get us back, that's what it takes, and I'm kind of down for it
And
personally.
I think,
like I said before,
I think Tesla's making the rockets.
really,
I think
SpaceX.
Elon Musk is.
SpaceX is doing it?
Yeah, there's some like big like lawsuit because it was between him and what's his name, the Amazon dude,
Jeff Bezos.
yeah, him and Bezos. It was between them of like making the rockets and stuff. And now
Give it to Elon, man.
It turned. I think Elon got it, and I think Bezos is suing. If I'm not butchering it, I didn't really research it for this, but I caught the article of it, and it was just like, what? But yeah, I guess it's a big pissing match for. I'm assuming for that
Dude.
government money.
I can only imagine
Like
billionaire
everyone wants that
arguments.
government money, right? Yeah, it's pretty comedy.
Yeah, fucking, I'm down for going back to the moon. Personally, I subscribe more to the belief that we went there and some of the shit was faked around it. But I guess
Yeah. I think
yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah,
You're in the same boat.
yeah, just like you're saying. Yeah, I feel like the moon landing. I'm more confident that it happened now than I was before. And if anything was faked, maybe the footage was faked because it didn't survive.
Also, too, I feel like one of the supporting evidence to that is we did other missions after that. It's like, wouldn't we just fake it once and be done? No, we did other shit, and then we had Apollo 13 happened. Like,
Right.
fucking, there was some other crazy shit that happened after that. So, personally, I don't think we didn't go there. I think we did go there, but
Yeah.
Make your own opinion
What do you
about
think
it.
of the firmament? The whole idea around that there's a firmament dome around the Earth that you can't go past. Did you?
I didn't dive.
develop any ideas of that? around this?
I don't believe in that, but
Yeah.
I didn't do
Yeah.
deep research into it either. All I'll say is Walt Disney. He wanted to build a fucking firmament around fucking Disneyland. So I don't know.
I kind of land on. I think the Van Allen belts are the firmament.
Yeah, that's kind of is.
I think we have this radiation belt around us that protects us from most asteroids, and I think that's what the firmament is.
That might, if
I'm
that's
open,
a fair.
I'm open to learning more. I try to stay open and just let more information in the future change things.
Yeah, we're no astrophysicists here.
No, I'm definitely not. That's where I kind of land on it, but I'm definitely open to all the ideas. And we like diving into the crazy conspiracy ones and seeing where they go with it. And we didn't touch on a lot of those here, like the idea that there's Nazi moon bases.
God, that's a step above the Antarctica bases.
No,
Shit.
there's the idea that there's Nazi moon bases. One crazy one I thought of. I don't know. Did you ever see this movie? It was like a 2000 movie. I think it was called Time Machine.
No, I'm not familiar with that one. Is it a good one?
It was an all right movie, but I like time travel movies. But in it, he goes to the future.
Yeah, time travel's hard to do, right?
Yeah, no. The thing that ties into this is in the movie he eventually goes to the future, and the moon is falling apart. And chunks of the moon are like falling down and fucking up Earth, and I think like the tides are getting fucked up and stuff because the moon's falling apart.
Moon is responsible for
and and this happened because like we colonized the moon.
It couldn't handle it.
And we built up the moon and we threw it off of its orbit and it fucked it up.
Fucked it all up. That's a cool premise. I like that premise.
It was just a crazy idea. And in the movie, it's just like a little side thing. You know?
Yeah, they don't even delve like super deep into it.
No, because the whole movie's about him going back and forth through time. But he gets into the future, and then like in the future, we're dealing with that. You know,
so it was okay for a while, and then the fallout of it was not good.
It was that's a cool trippy movie idea. But now Artemis is going. You know, I'm just waiting until like we decide that there's some precious mineral there that like powers iPhones or EV cars, and then we go and start mining the moon like crazy.
Yeah,
like, what's gonna happen?
I don't know. My mind goes to like an Element 115 thing, but it would probably be something different and maybe not quite as OP. But maybe there's something that's...
Watch it be something much more base. They're like, oh, dude, there's a bunch of nickel. And they just start like...
Bro,
you know?
This is off topic, but I saw a picture. Have you seen the photo of how much gold there is on the Earth?
Oh, yeah, I did.
It's not a lot.
I saw it on Rogan.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Yeah, that's comedy. The thing about gold, though, is that, like, to plate something, though, is it stretches, like, super far.
You can get a little more out of it.
For just a little bit, you can cover something really big. But, yeah, that was an interesting one. I'm sure we'll get to the point where, like, we're mining asteroids for materials like gold and, like, nickel and cobalt and whatever else we need.
Yeah, the cobalt batteries. Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure it gets to a point where we just start mining asteroids. And
dude, I'm just getting total Starfield vibes from this. You were into it for a while, but it seems
right.
like it.
I think this has been an idea before Starfield, but yeah, dude, totally, yeah, like that. You know, we'll just go out and steal it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of jobs then.
Yeah, I hope so.
Then we'll finally have all those jobs everyone needs. But yeah, all right. I think we milked this one pretty good. You got anything else crazy to say about the moon?
Fucking China got there over 50 years after we did. Now there's apparently a Chinese flag on there. So we got Merca, and we got the Chinese up there.
There's a Chinese flag there?
Supposedly so, there is.
Dude, if Trump gets elected...
we're going to make a mission to take that shit out.
He's going to make a mission.
Yeah, we're ripping that fucking shit out of the moon. Fuck that shit.
Yes.
Hey, at least the Chinese, they're not going to be able to listen to this shit because YouTube isn't fucking allowed there, but...
I think there's been a lot of missions there, but most of other countries' missions there, they like crash there and then have a module.
Or they just go into outer space, which really isn't that far compared to how far out the moon was.
Okay.
You know, like there is other countries that have got to space, but getting to the moon, that's a whole different ballgame.
I think several countries have gone to the moon, but they crashed on the moon.
Yeah.
Whereas we went there and came back.
And they didn't get people on there. You know?
Yeah, but China, of course China did. Of course they have a flag there.
Of course.
It's a red flag.
Fucking
take that for
the digital Chinese, and I'm saving up, boys.
All right, I think that's a good note to end this on. So, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time, I'm Red.
This is Jake.
See ya.
See ya.